Pokemon in 2025 might end up as one of the TCG's best-selling years in recent times. However, this year is also fraught with many dangers and risks that people are not thinking about, which may end up in them losing a lot of money. In today's video, I'm going to explore what I mean by that. Let's get straight into it. Hey guys, it's Pokemonster here, and over the course of this week, there is no doubt that you would have seen a multitude of videos talking about all the latest market developments about prismatic evolutions, reaching parabolic growth, journeys together selling out on the Pokemon Center UK and US. So it really seems like the market is in this euphoria or mania phase. What I want to discuss today is where I see this market going from my personal opinion and what I think is going to happen when I say that people are going to be losing money. Because the first question you might be asking is, well, in a bull market, things are always going to be going up, right? So how can people be losing money? I'll get to that a little bit later. If you enjoy my content and want to know more about Japanese Pokemon cards, English Pokemon cards, you want to see openings, vlogs, you want to know my thoughts about the market, then hit the like and subscribe button. I'm trying to get to 2K by the end of the month. I know that we can do it, so thanks in advance for your support. But before I get into the main bit of the video, I want to ask you guys two things. Firstly, I've been having a debate with my friend about which of these two boxes has the better box art. You guys tell me which artwork you like the most out of these two boxes. The second announcement that I wanted to make is that I'm actually going to be appearing on a live stream tomorrow, 7 p.m. UK time. Firstly, I want to cover where I think this market is going. I think that at least in the UK, this current market strength is going to continue throughout 2025. It's purely about the timing of releases and the set strength that we're seeing. However, just because a market continues to go up in the general trend doesn't mean that we're not going to see some stabilization or some pullbacks. And in fact, we are already seeing some of that. I think people are just ignoring it a little bit. If you look at Fusion Strike booster boxes, for example, they are pretty stabilized at the moment at around 320 to 330 pounds in the UK. So 400 US dollars. You guys correct me if my currency conversion is wrong. When you look at Prismatic Evolution's prices in the USA specifically, the situation is much worse in the USA than in the UK. If you go on eBay UK and look for ETB prices, so not the Pokemon Center ETB, the normal ETBs are going for about 70 pounds, so like 85 to 90 bucks. That is still above retail price, of course, but it's significantly cheaper than what they go for in the USA. If you look at TCG Player right now, for example, you'll see that normal ETBs go for like 150 bucks and the Pokemon Center ETBs go for 400 bucks. I think that is simply unsustainable, and I do expect to see some pullbacks. I don't know when. Obviously, the PC ETB is going to be limited, but I just think that this whole mentality that's driven these prices has got to calm down at some point in the year. However, when I look forwards to the upcoming releases with both Japanese and US or English markets seemingly going up but at different rates, I think we're in for a rough ride. We just got to ride the wave and ride it down when it comes down, right? Because next in Japanese, I believe we've got Heatwave Arena. Obviously, between now and the release of Heatwave Arena, we are going to have more non-booster box products. Like I think there's like a Marnie and Grimmsnarl box and Steven and Metagross box in Japanese, so look out for those. But Heatwave Arena, I think, is going to be a similar situation to Battle Partners, because if you guys don't know, I'm pretty sure that the pre-order situation on the Pokemon Center is similar in that you are going to get the 3 Illustration Contest 2024 promos for free with a single booster box pre-order. And then we're going into the most anticipated set, arguably, of the entire era, which is the Glory of Team Rocket. As I've said before, we also have Black Bolt and White Flare coming out, which is why I've got the black and white theme here, and that's going to be a super cool set to look forward to. On top of that, we've now got some trademarks for Mega Brave and Mega Symphonia, I think. As I've said in some of my past videos, in the past year or so, Legends ZA is coming out. They teased the Mega Evolution sign at the end of their video, so obviously when you tie in the TCG to the game, it's as expected that there are going to be Mega Evolution sets. But seeing the trademarks really is kind of big for the TCG. A lot of people are going to get excited about it. So the current market that we're in has contributed and is not going to help with the slowdown in excitement, activity, and buying, in my opinion. So that is where I see the market going. How are people going to lose money? Well, when we get into market situations like this, you often hear the same things. So if you think about when a market crashes and when a market goes up, there's 4 or 5 sets of statements that are always on each side. So when the market is going up, people like Pokemon is going to the moon. You know, it's the biggest franchise ever. It's just going to keep going up and up. It's never going to stop. But as strong as Pokemon is not beyond the forces of nature, right? The forces of behavioral economics. And what that tells us is that markets always move in cycles. So this boom, I don't know how long it's going to last, but one thing I know is that it's not going to last forever. So how do you actually lose money in a boom? Well, how do you actually make money in a boom? I think we need to answer that first. And the most primitive way that people talk about investing or buying anything to make money is buy low, sell high, right? When we think about the buying point, the best time to buy Pokemon products would have been last year or the last 2 years, since the Japanese market cooled down and the English market was kind of stable up to about Twilight Masquerade. And I think Twilight Masquerade with the Greninja started to get people pretty hyped up. That was the best time to buy. If you look at what people are paying for Journeys Together pre-orders right now, and don't forget, before I say that, when you look at those eBay listings of solds, not all of those are real, okay? But at least some of them are real. There are a lot of new people coming into the hobby right now, including people who have no interest at all in Pokemon cards. Anyone buying now at market price is buying high. That already sets you up in a bad position, because the higher the price you buy at, the higher your downside risk is. And maybe people don't want to hear that, but when you're paying $300 for a Journeys Together booster box, you are exposing yourself to a huge amount of downside risk for all of the value that goes below the $300. So unless you are able to pick up these products at their MSRP or below, which is still possible in this market to buy at MSRP, just kind of more difficult. If you're paying over the odds, you're exposing yourself and setting yourself up to a lot of risks, right? As I've said before, the second part is selling. In Pokemon, people don't really talk about losing money or winning money as realizing the gains or losses. They usually talk about them based on where the price is at already at that point. The current market situation that we have, I think we've got quite a bit of inorganic demand attaching on to the organic demand. Markets can switch very quickly in the blink of an eye, and markets can switch faster than you can adapt and faster than you can sell the products. So if there are a lot of people entering into the hobby and they're buying products like Journeys Together, I can just picture in my head, a lot of them are people who probably called it a mid set. They don't know what cards are in it. In fact, most of us don't. We know a few cards that have been revealed. You know, you've got the Wailord AR and a few of the SAR cards. But a lot of the people who are buying this product, I believe, don't know anything about it, don't know anything about the cards, haven't really thought about whether they actually like the product themselves, whether they think it'll go up. I think we are seeing a lot of buying without thinking at the moment. And those kinds of people could be over leveraging themselves very quickly, because at the moment, the buying activity is very high for new entrants. If the market turns at some point and it catches people off guard, the people who have no interest at all in the products that they bought have the highest propensity to sell when the price is going down. And what that means essentially is that they are going to lose money. I can see a lot of people who bought these Journeys Together booster boxes, who bought these Prismatic Evolutions even, PC ETBs at $400. I can see them trying to dump them to cut their losses, so to speak. So really, is there any way you can get around that? Well, I don't want to say don't pay above MSRP for products, especially if it's something like, you know, the Glory of Team Rocket that you think is going to do really well. But when you're buying it at those high prices, you got to prepare yourself for some pullbacks from time to time. I think the biggest mistake that some people make, I think there is some value in realizing that sometimes you need to cut your losses, but sometimes if you hold something for long enough, you are sitting out the market going down and slowly coming back up. And I think we are sort of seeing examples of that with the great waifu crash of 2023, where you had Lily's Full Force going for £2,000. Now, I'm not saying that if you got it for 2,000, you shouldn't have sold it at 1,000 when it came down, right? But if you bought it at 400 and it went down to 200, which is what it was until about a month ago, if you had held it the whole time through now, you would be 2 to 3 times up. Because if you look at solds for Lily's Full Force in PSA 10 now, they're slowly rising up again. So the key really for me is to buy things that at least you like a little bit. Don't just blindly buy things as a new entrant into the market thinking everything is going to go up and you can't lose in this market. There are going to be plenty of people who lose money in this market. As I've said before, I think we are going to continue in this vein with this type of mentality for quite a while going forwards, but I just cannot see these prismatic evolutions ETBs staying at their current prices in the USA. I can see them staying at their current prices or going up in the UK, like £70 for an ETB, £150 for a PC ETB. I can see that going up, but $150 for a normal ETB in the States, $400 for a PC ETB, nah. Personally, I don't see it staying at that price, so we will see. But hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video and happy collecting.